I welcome you all to our next lesson, to our next English lesson. In our previous lesson, we looked at changing verbs into now tense. We first looked at verbs. Then after looking at verbs, we looked at how they are changed into now tense. We looked at those verbs which take only ing when changed into now tense. And we went ahead looking at those verbs that end with vowels, whereby we said that we remove the last letter, the vowel, then we add ing. Now for this case, let us have them at a go. Then we see how they are changed into now tense. This side here, we are having the verb. And this side here, we are having the now tense. We said that another word to mean now tense is present continuous tense. If you don't want to call it now tense, you can call it present continuous tense. Let me write it so that you get used to it. Present continuous. Present continuous tense. This one stands for tense. If you don't want to call it now tense, you can call it present continuous tense. We say that with the now tense, that is when the act is going on at that particular time. For example, now I'm teaching. I have added ing on my verb teach because the act is going on now. I think there we are together. Let us have an example of any verb. We can have a verb like go. How do we change it into now tense? With go, you just write go the way it is, then you add on ing. Then we have the verb like pray. Praying to your God. Then when it comes to now tense, you say praying. We can have a verb like cry. When it is changed into now tense, you just add on ing. You can say the baby is crying. We can have a verb like cook. Cook is a noun, and at the same time, it can be regarded as a verb. We can have cook, then cooking. When the act is going on, we say cooking. We can also have like move. When we look at this one here, it ends with a vowel. Which vowel is letter E? And when we are changing it into now tense or into present continuous tense, we remove this letter E. I remember I told you that. Then we replace it with ing and have moving. Letter E has disappeared. Don't bring it back here. Okay? Then we also have arrange. You can arrange anything. This verb here, arrange, is also ending with a vowel. Again, we are not going to bring back this vowel when changing it into present continuous tense or into now tense. What we are going to do, we are going to get rid of this and replace it with ing like this. Arranging. We can also have this one here. We can also have this one here. Fight. Fight is ending with a consonant. That means you are going to just add on ing by saying fighting. And many others. We have a variety of verbs. And the way they change into now tense. Now for this case, we are going to look at changing nouns, changing verbs. And those verbs, when they are changed into now tense, that we double the last letter. Then we add on ing. In our previous lessons, in our 2 lessons that we looked at previously, first of all, we looked at those verbs whereby when we are changing them into now tense, that we only add ing. We went ahead to look at those verbs which end with the vowels, and those vowels are removed. Those last letters are removed, then we replace ing. Now for this time, we want to look at those verbs when changing them into now tense, that we double the last letter, then add on ing. Changing verbs into now tense. Changing verbs into now tense. Changing verbs into now tense. Some verbs when changed into now tense, we double the last letter. Some verbs when changed into now tense, we double the last letter. We double the last letter, then add ing. I've said that some verbs, when changed into now tense, we double the last letter, then add ing. That is what we want to look at. I have underlined this because when we look at our statement, it is a key word. Some verbs, when changed into now tense, we double the last letter, then add ing. Now we want to look at those nouns. We want to look at those verbs whereby their last letters are changed, then we add ing. For example, beside here we have the verb. Then here we have the now tense of that verb. Now tense. We have the now tense, all present. We have the present continuous tense. We have the present continuous tense. Now, among them, those ones whereby we double the last letter and we add on ing, among them we have our first verb, like the verb mop. get water with a rag or a mopper. You dump in water, then you begin cleaning. That is what we call to mop. It can be called mop. Then it's now tense. Its now tense is mopping. Mopping. You first write your verb mop. Then you double this last letter by adding another P, then ing. You get the verb mop. We have this one here, cut. We have cut. Cut also can be doubled. Cut, we double the last letter. We double the last letter. You first write your verb cut. Then you double it. You double it. You double the last letter. That is T-I-N-G. Who can give us another one? Who can give us another one? That can be whereby we double the last letter and we add on ing. Whereby we double the last letter and we add on the ing. Then we have this one here, this verb here, shut. You can be instructed to shut the door. And when you are doing the act, you are not going to say, I'm shut the door. No. You are going to add on ing on your verb because the act is going on at that particular time. So you are going to say shutting, shutting. You write your verb shut, shut. You double the last letter. This is our last letter. We are going to double it and have TT, shutting. Not all verbs change in the same way. Others we saw in our previous lessons, the way they change into now tense. Now at this time, we are looking at only those verbs that we change, we double the last letter, then we add on ing when changing them into now tense. Then we have this one here, the verb put. We have the verb put. Put. Okay? To put. What about when the act is going on at that particular time? What do? We double the last letter. We are going to double the last letter. We are going to write our verb put the way it is supposed to be. Then we double the last letter. How are we going to double it? We write another T-I-N-G. We have already changed it into now tense. Then we have also this one here. We have this verb here. Many of you like swimming, though some of you fear water. But those ones who are interested in it, they like it so much. Swim as our verb. What about when the act is going on, somebody is already in water, enjoying the water? Do we say swim? No. When the act is going on, we say swimming. Here we are going to double the last letter. We write our verb nicely like that. Swim. Then we add on. And we say swimming. We also have scrub. To scrub. Scrub. You get a brush and water, then you begin scrubbing. Okay? We have scrub. What about when we are putting it into now tense? When we are changing it into now tense? When the act is going on at that particular moment, it doesn't remain scrub. It changes into scrubbing. We double the last letter. Our last letter is B. We are going to double it. Then we add ing. We are going to have scrubbing. Scrubbing. Then we also have a like the verb clap. Clap. To clap. Always we clap for those ones who have done good. Those ones who behave well. If somebody talks sense, the congregation, the audience clap. So we have the clap as our verb. When we are changing it into now tense, we are going to double the last letter. Which one is our last letter here? It is letter P. We are going to double it. And have PP. We have clapping. We have clapping. Clapping. We also have skip. 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 To skip, you get a rope. Maybe somebody can be one side, another on the other side. You get a rope, somebody stays in the middle, she begins skipping. So we have skip. When we are changing it into now tense, it is not going to remain skip. No, it will change to skipping. You write your verb skip. You write your verb skip. Then you double the last letter. You double the last letter by adding another P. Then ing. That is skipping. And many others. We have so many. And when you are observant enough, you can see that most of these verbs here, whereby the last letter is doubled, when changing into now tense, they end with consonants, not vowels. So let us read it through. Changing verbs into now tense. Some verbs, some, this word some, not all. Some verbs, when changing into now tense, we double the last letter, then add ing. We don't remove this side, but instead we double. Doubling means two. That means the last letter, you make them two. This side we have the verb side. Then this way here, we have the now tense or the present continuous tense. We have mop. The verb mop ends with the letter P. That means this letter P is going to be doubled as we have done it here. We have mop, mopping, cut, cutting, shut, shutting, put, putting, swim, swimming, scrub, scrubbing, clap, clapping, skip, skipping, and many others. Let your neighbor, let your parent who is near you, at least help you to identify more verbs whereby when changing them into now tense, that the last letter is doubled. I wish you well.